Welcome, North Star parents. I am excited to be back with you here. We're talking about performance versus non-performance related questions. First of all, I want to say that this is really hard stuff, honestly. Like to be able to drive some of the conversation with yourself and with your players, with your children is really tough. And so I want to commend you for jumping on this with me. Before I begin, I do want to say that I'll be throwing out a feeler here to Rylan and Dallas to see if we can do a webinar before the end of the year. I think that would be cool to get on and ask any questions, get to know you guys a little bit better. Talking in this one way is a little bit tough. I'd love to see your faces and hear your questions as it relates to this performance versus non-performance related questions. So the next step that I work a lot with, in fact, I struggle with this myself. I played pro hockey and I've had 7 concussions, and, when I left, Germany playing hockey, I found myself in a city in a curb in a city I'd never been in, and I really struggled with who I was, and, I was thankful I had a mentor that really showed me what it meant to have a Christ-centered identity, and so I went on this quest to look at the attributes of what a healthy identity meant. And so through my research and my doctoral studies, I found several research articles that pointed to the 8 attributes of a healthy identity, and I want to go through those with you here in the next couple minutes. And so the 8 attributes are committed, persistent, dedicated, integrity, accountability, diligent, excellence, and confidence. And so when we are committed, we're committed to a mission greater than our immediate results. Temporary setbacks can destroy your sense of self. You're defined by your dedication to the cause, not by today's scorecard. This is so huge. When we're dedicated, it's something bigger than ourselves. We know that we want to glorify the Lord with our talents and our abilities. Yes. The question is, how do we do this? And so when we're saying we're committed to this process, we're persistent, we're dedicated, this is allows us to reduce the stress, reduce the anxiety, and drive to something bigger. So when we're persistent, this creates an identity through the process of overcoming, not just the outcome of winning. Your identity becomes I am someone who perseveres rather than someone who succeeded. My son plays for the University of Utah. He's a Ute, but in the next couple years, honestly, he's headed to the BHL. He's headed to the Beer Hockey League. All players head there. And so, I am so thankful that he had the North Star experience of being persistent and dedicated to the process. He's going to carry that a lot further. These 8 attributes, he's going to carry those a lot further than, what goals he scored or didn't scored. All right. So dedicated creates an identity through devotion rather than accomplishment. Your worth comes from faithfulness to the calling, not from the immediate results of your efforts. Integrity, when your worth comes from who you are morally, external circumstances can't compromise your sense of self. Your identity remains internally consistent regardless of the outcomes. Accountability creates an identity through ownership rather than blame. Your identity becomes I'm someone who owns my choices rather than I'm a victim of circumstances. It's a big one. Being diligent, being diligent, your worth comes from consistent effort and careful attention, not from occasional spectacular achievements. The daily grind becomes meaningful when diligence is your identity. Excellence, which is one of the attributes that I gravitate to, is doing the best you can with the current resources available to you in the given moment. This is not about being perfect. We all know that Jesus was the only perfect person. Excellence is not about being better than everyone else. It's about faithful stewardship to your gifts. Your worth comes from maximizing what you have, not from outperforming others. And lastly, confidence. True confidence comes from knowing who you are in Christ and what you've learned through faithful effort from external validation or comparison to others. I had a player come to me. this week actually, and say, "Hey, Super Dave, I really want to know how I can be a grinder every single shift and have high intensity." And so we started talking about a healthy identity and what it means to be committed and persistent and have excellence. So if we gravitate towards excellence, doing the best that I can with the current resource available to me in this moment, then I can focus on the here and now. If I'm thinking about the outcome of the game or what people think about me in my last shift or my last period, I can't be mentally tough. And the way I look at mental toughness is that we're playing at the upper ranges of our ability consistently under pressure in the biggest moments. That's what mental toughness is. And so, in order to have that consistent effort, we have to have an identity that is a healthy attribute. So, excellence and dedicate. I'm dedicated to this process. I need to stay focused on my ABCs and what I do well. I'm a grinder, right? I win 50-50 battles. I'm going to rip the puck violently. Staying committed to that, not the expectation of how I'm going to do in that moment. So we also know we don't rise to the level of expectation, we fall to the level of our training. So if our mindset isn't in a healthy identity, then we're kind of setting ourselves up for failure and struggle. This doesn't eliminate it, having a health identity, but it definitely we have not so big peaks and not so big valleys. So I'm hoping to be see you guys live in a webinar and answer any questions you may have. I really enjoyed this process with you. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me. I think my phone number is in the email. Also, there's going to be a great blog attached um, to this 8 attributes of healthy identity. Hopefully, enjoying that, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks.